so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is I was about to say 17, like this is OC. I think this is season 15, episode, I want to say 11. But let's get into it. Before we get into the review, we're going to get a little spicy. Just a little. And what we're going to talk about is the seating chart for the reunion and the leaked photo of the ladies taking a picture at the reunion. So first up, the seating chart. And I kind of like it. I kind of don't. We know seating charts only matter in Atlanta, Potomac, and New Jersey. So in this seating chart that they showed us for the reunion, you always got Andy in the middle. On the left-hand side, it goes Drew, Kenya, and Kandi. I think Kenya should be at the end of the couch, mainly because she really didn't get into it with a lot of people other than she had that moment with Marlo. She had maybe the disagreement with Sanya, and then she had the argument with Courtney. And if Courtney's not at the reunion, then what's the point of Kenya being in the middle chair? She should be at the end, and Kandi should be in the middle because Kandi had the most situations. She had that conversation with she had the situation with Sheree, and she had the situation with Marlo, and then she argued with Courtney. And those seem to be more pivotal to the story of this season. And then Drew. I don't know why Drew is first chair, but because the first half of this season, she ain't really gave me anything. But I'm guessing with the mid-season trailer and then with how things are going to go moving on with her situation with divorcing Ralph and then subsequently probably having a relationship with Ty, that she probably carried the last half of the season, so that is why they gave her the first chair. On the right-hand side, I think Marlo and Sheree should be flipped. Marlo was getting into it with everybody on the left side of the couch. She got into it with Drew. She got into it with Kenya. She definitely got into it with Kandi. She should be first chair. Sheree only got into it with Kandi and Drew, and they were squashed really fastly compared to what Marlo. So I really do feel like those two should be switched. Sanya at the end should be at the end of the chair on the right-hand side, mainly because all of Sanya's storyline was dedicated on her family, and if they're not going to bring the family there to argue, and her family didn't really play a pivotal role in the story of this season, then last chair is where she should be. But that's my 2 cents about the chart. Let me know yours. This reunion photo, this leaked reunion photo, I don't like it. I don't know what this aquamarine monstrosity color they picked. I don't like it. It looks cheap. Everyone's outfit is giving that they called their cousin up that they know can sew and said, girl, get me right for prom. I don't like it. And the bad thing about it is all the pages hype this up too much. There was several pages who normally have the tea about Real Housewives of Atlanta talking about, oh, y'all are going to be so blown away because the girls really brought it this season for the reunion. And then this came across my timeline and I said, what the hell is this? What is it? What is it? What are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? I think the only outfit that I think is serviceable is Kandi's, but then again, I really don't know because I need to see the individual pictures that they normally post from Bravo Insider. So far, if I had to give my opinion on everyone's outfit, I like Kandi's, but I don't know. Kenya, it looked cheap. It looked like somebody from Project Runway ran out of material and put it on you and said, hit that runway. I don't like it. Drew, autumn sequence, look cheap. It looks cheap. Sheree's is basic. I don't know what she is doing with her face. I don't get what she's doing with her face. I don't like the whole corset thing. Marlo's just look like drapery. Maybe it might look different once she's by herself again. And then Sanya's is basic. I don't know. I don't like it. Again, this is a leaked photo, so these outfits, these are definitely their outfits because I saw a video of Kenya premiering her makeup for the reunion, doing a TikTok trend. So these are definitely their outfits, but I am hoping that once we get the official photos from Bravo Insider where they're by themselves, it will be different. Because right now, I don't like nothing. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But let's get into this review. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up and we're in Portugal. And Candy is leaving to go back to Atlanta. She got on her set it off braids, putting on her coat, and she going. But before she left, she went to Kenya's room to let Kenya know she pissed. So it then switch overs and we see Mayetta and Kenya together. And Mayetta's going to check up on Kenya. And pretty much Kenya is like, girl, I don't know what's going on. I think somebody put a root on me. I ain't never been in an ambulance, but in 2 months, I have been in an ambulance, girl, in Birmingham and now Portugal. And the producer's like, who you think put a root on you? And she said, mumbling Marlo, which I thought was funny. So Mayetta and her sit down and Kenya's like, girl, what happened? Because Candy came to my room pissed off. Girl, what happened? So we see a flashback and Candy's pretty much being like, I would not say that I saw you doing something unless I saw it. Like, I'm not that type of person. So Mayetta ends up explaining to Kenya, like, girl, they got into it because Candy said that Drew kissed LaToya, and Drew is saying she didn't kiss LaToya. So Candy is like, I'm not a liar, but Drew is calling Candy a liar. And Kenya's like, I don't know why Drew is denying it because we all were there in Savannah during the Bolo situation, and they definitely did have a kiss because I came downstairs and I saw their faces this close together and their heads moving. So I definitely think something happened. And she was like, why would all of us lie? She was like, Cynthia says she saw it. Shamia says she saw it. I saw it. Marlo saw it. Candy saw it. Why would everyone have this much, like, why would everyone take this much time to lie on you? Like, what's really going on? What's really going on? So she was like, yeah. And then things kind of got bad. Mayetta talks about how Marlo was recording them and Marlo sent the recording to LaToya. Cause I guess LaToya called or told Drew or something. I think LaToya ended up calling or Drew ended up calling LaToya and they ended up having it out or talking about what was going on. So Kenya was like, yeah, that's a snake move for her to like send that video to LaToya. And she was like, I told y'all about Marlo. So then the conversation continues on and Mayetta ends up saying that she saw a collusion. And Kenya's like, girl, what? And basically there's a video of Courtney. Who was it? Let me look at this. It was Courtney, Mayetta, Sheree, Sonya, and Marlo. And Mayetta, Sheree, not Mayetta, Sonya, Sheree, and Marlo were telling Courtney, you might need to have a conversation with your cousin and you might need to be weary of your cousin, it seems, because you see she out here lying. On top of that, she be bringing in outside people to the show to be coming at people, so this might not be somebody you want to like. You just need to be careful. So Mayetta is telling Kenya like, yeah, I saw it. So Kenya now was like, I think we need to tell Drew about what's going on. So we then see a conversation between Sonya and Marlo, where Marlo was like, I sent that video to LaToya because Drew be lying. On top of that, I feel like LaToya should know because she my Aquarius sister. Girl, shut up. But she was just like, on top, she was just like, yeah, like I sent it. And she was like, I was recording. She was like, I'm good at recording things. I wasn't trying to catch Drew in a lie, but I was going to record it. So then Sanya's like, I hope the vibe is vibing, but I don't know. The energy is shifted. We then see a scene with Drew and Sheree where they're sitting down waiting for the girls in the lobby so they can go to their sound bath thing. And Sheree was like, last night was a lot of fun until it wasn't. And Drew was like, yeah. She was like, I thought I was in a safe space. And then things shifted. And Drew is like, I don't know why I can't. Like, no, I think Sheree was like, why would Candy say that you kissed LaToya if you didn't? And Drew is like, I don't know why. And then Sheree's like, well, Candy is saying that she saw it with her own 2 eyes, girl. So I don't think she might, like, I don't think she lying. Like, you might need to, like, you might need to tell her. And she said, and Kenya is co-signing. So then Drew was like, and then Sheree's like, and them your friends. And so Drew was like, I guess not. She was like, can you be talking about things when she's not even there? She has very strong opinions about situations when she's not even there. I don't know why she's like that. And she was like, I think Candy's trying to just butter me up for my role. with Todd, where it's like she's supposed to be playing that timid housewife that gets turned out by the lesbian. But I really don't know why she out here lying. And so she was like, look, she was like, and then on top of that, Marlo is really not my friend sending videos to LaToya. And Sheree was like, well, how do you know she sent the video? She was like, because LaToya told me. So then she ends up showing Sheree her phone, and she was like, see, I even asked LaToya, did we kiss? And she said no. So the text message, Drew asked LaToya, she said, hey, quick question, for the record, in all truth and honesty, did we ever kiss? And LaToya ends up saying no. And here's my thing about this whole situation. One, Marlo's definitely not Drew's friend, but Drew, you're not Marlo's friend, and y'all pretty much admitted that at the last episode when y'all were apologizing to each other. So that should have been not a red flag, but that should have been like, okay, girl, this is not my friend and we're working on a friendship. Like, we're not cool like that. I honestly kind of don't have a problem with Marlo sending the video. Is it snakish? Yeah, but I oftentimes think, like, if I'm ever doing something where somebody is recording me, I normally know that somebody's gonna send it. Somebody might send it, and I'm okay with that because I see you recording. And it looks like everybody had their phones out, and it wasn't like somebody had it like underneath their shirt, trying to hide it. It looks like everyone's phone was like like everybody had their phone out recording. So it wasn't as snakish as they're trying to make it seem. But I do understand Drew being like, why would you send her that video? But I feel like LaToya pretty much had a right to know because y'all were talking about her. It is what it is. So everyone is like, no, well, and on top of that, I just feel like Drew is making this more than what it is. I saw some people saying they feel like the girls are trying to out Drew, but I'm just like, are they really trying to out Drew, or are they just trying to prove that they're not liars? Because I feel as though Drew made this more than what it needed to be by being like, you're lying. You're lying. Like, nobody likes being called a liar, especially if they saw what they saw. If I was Drew, either I would be like, girl, yeah, it happened, it's whatever, like a throwaway, or I would be like, I don't remember that happening. Like, denying it that way, other than being like, y'all are liars, would have made this go over very, like, it would have blown over. But the fact that she's calling people liars and she is like aggressively trying to defend her point, it feels like you're protesting too much. So it's like, girl, did you really kiss her, or did you not? And because it's giving you did kiss her, and if you did, it ain't that big of a deal. The episode continues, and we see all the ladies pile into the vans. They bring up Kenya falling again. I don't know why they keep showing that lady slamming that ground as hard as she did. Courtney keeps bringing up, how dramatic Kenya is, and they bring about and it flashbacks to when Kenya was talking about how Courtney is too touchy-feely, and she felt like Courtney was trying to be condescending towards her. And I just think Courtney took that to heart for no reason. They let Mayetta rap on the bus. It was cringy, and I got secondhand embarrassment. Don't ever do that again. The girls finally make it to their first stop, but because the roads are so narrow, the bus is too big, they all have to pile into separate vans. So we end up seeing Marlo, Sheree, Sonya, and Courtney in a van together. Then Kenya, Drew, and Mayetta are in a van together. And while in the van, Kenya's trying to warn Drew about her cousin, pretty much saying, like, the girls was talking to your cousin, and you might need to check her and reel her back in before she get caught up too much. And the other girls are in the other van talking about how they're excited for the sound bath. They get to the hut. They're doing the little thing. I would actually like to do it to see how it feels. Everyone was like, they felt safe and comfortable. Kenya starts crying. The lady who was leading the sound bath, I guess the healer, asked Kenya, like, how are you feeling? And Kenya was just like, I just feel like I could just help more people. Maybe she's talking about like her family or just the community, but she was like, I'm just so grateful that I was given Brooklyn. She was like, I haven't had I didn't have a best relationship with my mom. I came from an abusive relationship, and the best thing out of everything is Brooklyn. And I just don't know how I got someone like her. It even makes me want to have another child. So that leads into Kenya's storyline of possibly having a second child that we saw in the mid season trailer. We then see Marlo talk about how that was like one of the best sleeps that she had because she felt safe. She said she hasn't felt safe since after her place got broken into with the four robbers. So she's kind of just been sleeping throughout the day, not sleeping at night, which a lot of people have said that have gotten robbed or have had a home invasion, how your sense of security leaves you, that you are very on edge for a long time. And sometimes people never really feel safe. So she was just, so I like what she was saying makes sense. It really makes sense. So the ladies go, my bad, y'all. My eyes are itchy. The ladies go and they sit down and they end up having lunch. One thing I love about the ladies of Roa is they eat. They don't beat around the bush. They eat. Everyone was enjoying the food. They were enjoying the wine. They said the wine was really good. I would love to taste it. And then things get underway where they start talking about what happened last night, about what I think Kenya brought up what happened. And Marlo said, well, Drew tried to say that she didn't kiss LaToya. Then Drew brings up about Marlo sending the video to LaToya. And Marlo said, I hate the bitch lying on you, to LaToya. And Marlo's like, yeah, I did send it to her. I was like, I felt like she should know. I felt like she should know, like, you was lying. I felt like she should know. So then Drew gets really angry, talking about, if you ever record me, I'll flip a table. And it was given very much season 13 when she gave the same energy to LaToya. I'm from Chicago. We don't be doing that. Like, Drew not gonna put a hand on nobody. And the thing about it was like Marlo wasn't even phased. Marlo and her were going back. Kenya and the ladies were laughing because Marlo was not bothered. Drew was like, you need to be, why are you so pressed? Why are you so bothered? It's giving obsession. You need to be worried about them dead follicles on your hair. Talked about Marlo's edges. Then she was like, and aren't you trying to get your record expunged? And Marlo was like, yes. And I don't know why you still worried about my hair because it's growing. It was like everything Drew said, it wasn't like, it was not resonating with Marlo. Like it wasn't hitting. And then I think Drew said something about Marlo. She was like, have you paid your taxes or something like that? And Marlo was like, yeah, those are public records. Ask your husband. He's in tech like I'm in tech. And then Drew said, at least I have a husband. I said, girl, Ralph is nothing to be boastful about. The same man that told you that he was like, I was trying to serve her lobster and steak and I should have gave her a Lunchable. The same man that went to Miami and you don't know why he was in Florida. Girl, shut up. Shut up. I hate when the girls be like, at least I have a man, when your man is not of value. He actively treats you like trash and you think that's a trump card to somebody? Okay. So Marlo's sitting there. Drew is getting increasingly upset. Then next thing you know, Courtney and Kenya get into it because Kenya said, Courtney, don't you have something to say to Drew about what was going down with y'all? And then Courtney was like, no, I can talk for myself. I don't know what you're talking about. So then Kenya said, well, Mayetta told me it seemed like that y'all were colluding against Drew. And Sonya's like, colluding? Like, what would we have to collude? Like, what are you talking about? We were not colluding. We were having a discussion about their relationship. There was no collusion. And Mayetta was like, well, that's what it looked like to me. And Sonya was like, girl, you were sitting there with us. So what are you talking about? What collusion did you see? Nobody was colluding. And then they were like, does Mayetta even know what colluding meant? And she was trying to like say what it meant. But then Drew ended up reading the definition and it said collusion, to work together secretly in order to do something illegal or to be dishonest. Excuse me. And everyone was like, girl, we were not doing that. So then Kenya was like, well, Courtney, it seems like you have some things you need to work out with Drew. And so I think Courtney was like, you need to learn from karma, directing it towards Kenya. And Kenya was like, what are you talking about? So then Sheree's getting upset because she was like, y'all, we just had a sound bath. It was very healing. And y'all are doing all of this. Like, I'm done. I'm embarrassed. So she got up, got herself a drink, and decided to like walk away. She was tearful. Marlo follows after her, and Courtney and Marlo are in the room with Sheree, basically saying Kenya wasn't even there when we had the discussion, so I wouldn't even be worried about what she said. We know we was not colluding against her. And then Sheree is like wiping tears from her eyes because she's like, y'all, like, we just had a moment. And so Kenya's back in the other room, and she was like, girl, get your cousin, because she's actively saying that it's karma that I fell and almost became paralyzed. I said, now, Kenya, you putting 20 on 10, but I can understand it. Like, nobody wants harm to be wished upon them, and it does show that they're like, you kind of off when you do that. So Kenya was like, you need to get your cousin. And she was like, I'm going to go get my cousin. So then Drew ends up talking to Courtney and being like, girl, look at who you with. You need to watch Marlo. We have a relationship and you need to watch Marlo. And then it's brought up that Marlo wasn't the only one that was recording. Mayetta was recording too. I guess the only difference is Mayetta didn't send it to LaToya, but Mayetta was recording as well. And then Courtney was like, look, I didn't even know Mayetta was recording. So why are you mad? Why aren't you mad at Mayetta? Like, there seems to be a double standard. And I know what we have. Like, I'm not going to switch up on you because I'm friends with Marlo. I'm not doing that. So they get back on the bus and they all go back home. Not back home, but back to the hotel. And it's a quiet bus ride because the girls are tired. You see the girls get ready to have dinner later on that night. Everyone's in their outfits. And we end up seeing Mayetta, Kenya, Sheree, and Drew get down in the lobby area before the rest of the ladies. And Kenya's making faces, making fun of Courtney and her voice, which was actually really funny, and saying how Courtney was just doing too much with her hands. You then see Marlo, Sheree, and Sonya in the room as Marlo's getting ready. And Marlo's saying, well, Courtney, you handled Kenya because she was trying to cut you off and you got her together. Didn't nobody get nobody together. Kenya pretty much paid Courtney does. Courtney came in too hot, and I guess Kenya just doesn't feel like Courtney is a worthy adversary, because when Kenya has a worthy opponent, she's good. But I don't think she deems any of these people worthy of her time of going back and forth. So she don't even play into Courtney. So Courtney's just like, yeah, it's whatever. She was like, I want to go to dinner and have a good time. So Sonya's like, I don't get where Mayetta was getting that we like colluded against Drew. Like, that I have an issue with. So then Sheree asks Mayetta, like, girl, what do you mean by we were colluding? Like, where did you get that from? And Sonya lets Drew know that, like, Courtney has never said anything derogatory about you to us. She's never done that. And Drew is like, I'm just wanting Courtney to be wary of Marlo because you see how she doing me and how she's done other people. You should be careful. So they get to the restaurant and they sit down. They start asking Drew about her marriage, about the 7-year itch. That's what we saw last season. Now it's 8 years. We find out that Drew is still in therapy, but Ralph is taking a break from it. Kenya tries to steal Sonya's drink. She got like a mojito. I love a good mojito. So I get why Kenya wanted to take it. But Sonya was like, girl, is that my drink? And Sonya's like, but you really trying to steal my drink? And she took her drink back because Kenya didn't like the coffee drink that she had. So they're all sitting at the table, and as they're sitting at the table, Sonya basically tells Mayetta, girl, I didn't like that you tried to say that we were colluding against Drew. That's basically the same thing that Drew is upset with Marlo. And I was like, it is kind of equivalent. Drew is upset with Marlo because Marlo took the argument or the conversation that they were having about LaToya and told LaToya. And Mayetta's upset with Mayetta going back. No, Sonya's upset with Mayetta for going back and telling Drew about the conversation that they had with Courtney. And Mayetta ends up apologizing. They receive it. Her and Courtney have a brief little tit for tat, and then it ceased there. Then they get on the discussion about karma and about what Courtney said about, it's karma, about Kenya falling. Kenya says that's a character flaw for you to wish harm on somebody that hasn't really virtually done anything to you. And Courtney's like, I didn't wish harm on you. I just said it was karma. And I even asked that if you were okay. And Kenya's like, no, she didn't. And then Drew is like, no, she actually did. And then Courtney's like, girl, let her think whatever she wants because she knows everything. She's a mean girl. She's this and she's that. She knows everything. So they start going back and forth. Sheree's like, we not going to get nowhere with this. They start showing clips of when Kenya has been her worst this season, I guess. But each clip, I say, you had the situation that she had with Martell and her at Ross's birthday. That was them to me. To me, that was Kenya and Martell reciprocating the same energy with each other. Then the situation in Birmingham. Marlo went to that lady's door disturbing her peace, so I feel like she had every right to yell at that lady. And then when they had to sit down at I think it was the Gucci party, and she said something about Marlo selling her coochie to everybody, they were already ready in like a heated discussion that they weren't going to get anywhere. It wasn't like Kenya just lashed out of nowhere. So I feel like production is doing a disservice with showing these clips. But I mean, hey, I'll give Courtney a point for not backing down from Kenya. I just feel as though like it's misplaced and she just keeps coming in too hot because I think, like I said, Kenya's reputation precedes her and don't nobody want to get ate up by Kenya. So she was like, pretty much they not going to get nowhere. They not going to get nowhere. So it's the next day and the ladies are going on a wine tasting. I would love to go on a wine tasting. I really would. I would love to go on a wine tasting. So they all get ready. So I don't know what Drew had on with that big orange coat. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. But they go wine tasting. They have a good time. They're all tipsy. And then Marlo brings up how Ralph texted her. And Ralph sent Marlo this text message saying, Marlo, I understand you're saying disrespectful things about me on this trip. I'm disappointed because I thought we were cool and I've been nothing but nice to you. I forgave you for the disrespectful things you said about me last year and now it's getting old. Please keep my name out your mouth. So my thing about it is, Ralph should not be texting Marlo. He just shouldn't. Things get messy. I'm not one of those people that believe that men and women can't have discourse and they can't have conversation. But why are you running back to tell your husband and then you think your husband texting me trying to reprimand me is going to do something? Like, that's lame, Drew. That's really lame. Like, and I didn't understand why Marlo said she wasn't going to respond back to him because that's a man and I'm going to respond to his wife. And had I been Marlo, I'd have been like, tell your wife not to threaten me then. Talk about she going to flip tables on me or she going to rearrange the furniture to get to me. Then we can talk. But until then, lose my number. But you're not going to be checking me. It don't work like that over here. You check her. That's your wife. I'm not one of those. I'm not yours. So she said, Drew says, well, Ralph doesn't like his name to be disrespected. I don't get what the issue is. I really don't. Like, Marlo says Ralph works in tech and she works in tech. Honestly, none of us really know what Ralph does. And it's not that deep. All we know is the man made a book off his stepson who he don't want to adopt. Okay. So then things get the episode ends where they have the actual people native to the land that like dancing. The dances look fun. The ladies dance with them. I don't know what curriculum or what institution Drew went to in high school or college, but she called them pilgrims. And like the producer said, girl, pilgrims haven't existed since the Mayflower. Like, those are the locals dancing for y'all. What? And so they dabbed and then they talked about a sisterhood, which doesn't exist on this show. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in the comments below. Deuces.